A girl I knew from high school is getting married and it's a total mess. We're both 24 now. Back in our senior year, she got pregnant. A girl I knew from high school is getting married and it's a total mess. We're both 24 now. Back in our senior year, she got pregnant with her first baby daddy, who we'll call Jake. Her super conservative parents kicked her out, so she ended up moving in with a friend's family. She barely graduated high school, and the only reason she did was because of the generosity and support of our teachers and fellow students who volunteered to help her. We met in our morning law class and she had terrible morning sickness that really affected her ability to attend. I took extra notes for her, tutored her, and brought her stuff if she hadn't come back by the bell. I wasn't the only one who helped her, and I know she appreciated all the assistance we gave her. She had her baby a month after we graduated. She had signed up for a firefighter training course after high school because ITVJTM's a steady job with opportunities for certificates and promotions, but she didn't realize how intense the course would be and had to drop out. She started working at a bakery until she had a better plan. Jake started an apprenticeship while working part-time at a gym and proposed to her on her 20th birthday, suggesting marriage because it was the right thing to do. I don't agree with that, but this isn't about me. She always refused his proposals. She started cheating on him after a while and eventually left him for another guy because she got pregnant again. This time, the father, who we'll call Mike, was more likely to be the baby daddy. Neither of them could afford lawyers, so getting a custody agreement was a mess. Their parents got involved and did a 50-50 split, though it was not made official. She had the baby, who turned out to be Mike's, and everything was okay for about 7 months until she found out Mike had been cheating on her with his coworker. Mike decided to pay child support, but didn't VDJ/TMT want much contact with the kid, only around holidays and 1 weekend a month for his parents' sake. She moved back in with her parents, who only accepted her back because of the grandchildren. At 23, she got to take the year-long dispatcher course and passed with flying colors. After working as a dispatcher for a year, she met a police officer named Ben, who VJTM's 28 and married. Ben is also Jaka VDTM's second cousin. She had an affair with Ben. VJ infidelity is apparently common among cops VDJ and got pregnant. His wife divorced him, and Ben proposed because it was the right thing to do. She accepted, and her parents kicked her out again, calling her an expletive. She moved in with Ben with her 2 kids. They've started planning the wedding, which, given the background, is something akin to a dumpster fire. Jake is livid. He was desperately in love with this girl, and his NVGTMT really recovered from what she did to him. While she rejected his proposals years ago, she accepted one from his cousin for the same reason. Jake has basically made a call for loyalty in the family, dividing everyone on who should go, who should give money, etc. Plus, they're having trouble planning anything because of COVID. Her parents have outright said that they're not getting along with half of her family, and her younger sister has been going around sabotaging what plans they can make. She asked me to be a bridesmaid. I said that I couldn't, because I live in a different province now. But the truth is I do not want to be wrapped up in that chaos in any way. I'm just watching the arguments and events unfold on social media because, quite honestly, it's the most entertaining thing I've seen all year. It's weird to me that she even asked, because we're not friends. We never have been. We were friendly strangers in high school. I just helped her out for one class because she needed help, and I could give it to her. I was just being nice. But based on how she turned out, I'm just sad for her. 3 kids in 4 years, and she's alienated so many of her friends and family because of her actions. I'm torn between feeling sorry for her and putting my head in my hands. First off, all of your comments are hilarious. Second, I'm going to answer some of the common questions. We're from a city with over 400,000 people. She just comes from a neighborhood that's either Bible thumpers or white trash with no in-between. But the high school we went to was in a completely different neighborhood than that. Our school had a pretty good sex ed course. They gave out free condoms and had resources to help girls get birth control. They had programs in place for if students ever got pregnant or were going to be teen parents. They also had one of those classes with the dolls for girls who were high risk for teen pregnancy, but she wasn't high risk, so she wasn't in that class. I don't know if birth control just didn't work for her or if she never tried it. She started alienating her friends after the affair with Ben came out because people weren't exactly jumping for joy that she'd broken up a marriage. Ben and his ex didn't have any kids, thankfully, so there were fewer obstacles. When people weren't immediately ecstatic for her, she started getting very snippy, rude, and was calling people out on social media for not supporting her new relationship or pregnancy. To be honest, I'm really worried about her health because having this many babies so close together is just not good for her mental or physical health. People are also worried that Ben will cheat on her. If he'll cheat with you, he'll cheat on you. They think she should avoid marrying him so that she can leave him if it happens. I'll give you updates as they come out, but so far, it's just a lot of yelling on social media. Mostly from her, some relatives shaming her, and people who are really worried about her because, as funny as this is, this doesn't seem like healthy behavior. First off, I realized I never gave this girl a name. For the sake of clarity, we'll call her Beth. I didn't mention this before, but all of these are fake names. Second, to everyone commenting that Ben is at fault for his marriage breaking up, believe me, I'm well aware of that. It is his ex-wife and her family friends who solely blame Beth. Ben is also older than her and has more life experience, so I do believe he could potentially be taking advantage of her naivete. However, she is also an adult who is capable of making her own decisions and has chosen to make poor ones in the past. Third, people who are upset that I'm posting this story here claiming I'm humiliating her. She's been posting about this mess on every social media platform she has since they got engaged in July. She put this out there long before I did, except she didn't. So in front of friends, family, employers, co-workers, and internet randos. Fourth, despite getting engaged in May and attempting to start planning then, I was only asked to be a bridesmaid 5 days ago. I knew there was a mess going on, but I didn't really pay attention to it until she asked me to be a bridesmaid. I tried to ask what was going on and said that she should talk to someone, but when she completely brushed me off, I checked her Twitter and Instagram and found out about all of this. Fifth, I realized that I didn't really talk about how disastrous the wedding planning has been going. So here you go. They've had to rebook 4 times because venues and vendors kept canceling when infection numbers got worse, even though their wedding was months away. Beth has been flipping between having the wedding while she's pregnant, saying she's proud of her bump, and wanting to wait until after the babies are born because she feels fat. This is unfortunate because she's been breaking down due to her insecurity on a public platform. Beth is currently 8 months pregnant. Beth's great-aunt was going to give her her wedding dress to wear after she gives birth, but Beth's mom freaked out and stole the dress from her before Beth could get it and is now keeping it. The great-aunt says she's too old to get in a fight and has shrugged it off. Chad's immediate family is paying for the wedding and has been cut off by the rest of their extended family for choosing Chad. Beth's wedding colors are pink and green, which is usually a nice combo, but the specific shades don't go great together. They're her and Chad's favorite colors, which is fine, but she literally made a video talking about these colors for 15 minutes on her Instagram while both of her kids were just full-on bawling in the background, and she was ignoring them. She's gotten some flack for that. Jake is finally settled into his trade, has hired a lawyer, and is trying to get primary custody, not allowing his daughter to go to the wedding. Beth is planning a Zoom baby shower bachelorette party and has sent out a registry asking for crazy expensive things. She's also set up a GoFundMe to help pay for a honeymoon and is making a lot of posts about how no one loves her because the fund only has $1,352 of the $25,000 she wanted. I'll update when I can, but I'm still in school. And while I do want to help her, she's refused help offered in the past. And there's only so much of this I can take mentally right now. Update 1. Hey everyone. So some stuff has gone down and it doesn't look like it's over yet. Sorry I didn't update sooner, but the virus came back with a vengeance and totally messed up plans with uni and family. Anyway, on to the update from the last update. November 16th. Lots of ranting and chaotic wedding planning on social media. She found a dress and has decided she will get married while pregnant. They found a local wedding venue that is very lovely, but I'm shocked she's still trying to book stuff with all of their previous venue cancellations. November 17th. Her little sister unblocked her to call her a name and tell her that all her wedding plans were stupid. This resulted in a petty and entertaining Twitter war until the little sis blocked her again on the 18th. November 18th. Beth went nuts on social media because Jake had kidnapped their daughter. What really happened is that because courts are moving at a snail's pace due to the virus, and Jake had reason to believe that their daughter was not safe living with Beth, he decided to just not give her back. They don't have a custody agreement, and when Beth tried to call the cops, they couldn't do anything because he was kind. There were dozens of videos on her various social media accounts of her ignoring their daughter, yelling at her daughter for crying or doing other things that toddlers do. It turns out that everything she needed was bought by Jake. Food, diapers, clothes, toys, daycare while it was open, etc. On top of the unofficial child support he was paying every month, which turned out to be $700 a month. DJ, a number I find ridiculous, because Jake was already paying for literally everything since she refused to buy anything for her daughter and insisted it was Jake's responsibility. Additionally, after the immediate post-birth appointments, Beth never took baby A to a doctor's appointment. She always deferred it to Jake. Baby A's pediatrician has never met Beth. Beth even tried to get Ben to push back or intimidate him or something. But the local police where we live are under one hell of a microscope after a bunch of dirty cops got busted a couple of years ago. Basically, the cops and the social worker they ended up calling said there was nothing she could do until they get to court. The social worker tried to get her to go to therapy and parenting classes. But Beth refused and went on a 15-paragraph-long rant on Instagram about how she doesn't need parenting classes or therapy. She really does, though, and called the social worker some choice words. July 19th to 24th. Just a bunch of ranting on social media, calling everyone who doesn't enable or justify her behavior cuss words, slurs, and a whole bunch of other horribly creative things. Also, both she and Ben are under investigation at work now, but she has no idea why. I'm going to take this time to remind everyone that 99% of this info is coming from her public social media pages, where her coworkers, friends, and place of employment are listed. July 25th. I am officially embarrassed to know this woman. I didn't go on her Twitter page until the evening because I didn't want to deal with drama first thing in the morning. In the morning, she put on a very beautiful blue maternity dress, got Ben in his police blues and baby B in a purple romper, and then live-streamed her and her family going to the courthouse to get married. According to her Instagram, part of this was because their newest venue canceled on them after infection numbers spiked. Overall, a pretty tacky thing in my opinion, because she stated plainly several times that she intended her wedding anniversary to eclipse Christmas for her children because it's just so much more special. You know? I'm so glad that baby B's grandparents are filing for guardianship. But here's the thing. The courthouse isn't open because of the virus, for one thing, but also because it's July and Canada has a predominantly Christian history. She proceeded to have a full meltdown, and when baby B cried because, the kid's mom was screaming up a storm and scaring her, Beth called her A. July 28th. I ran into her at a vaccine clinic because we were both getting our booster shots. She didn't recognize me at first, but one of my old bosses, VDJ, because I used to work at the hospital where the vaccine clinic was, VDJ called my name and said hi, so she came up to me after my old boss had left. We talked a bit while we sat down for the mandatory waiting period after getting the shot. She asked how I was, but didn't even wait for me to respond before she started ranting and complaining about her life. I was just going to sit there until the time was up and then politely make my exit, but when she started talking about her kids, something inside me snapped. I just said, "Do you even like your kids? Do you like being a mom?" She got pretty quiet for a second and then said no. Her voice and demeanor completely changed, and we just sat in silence until our time was up. I said goodbye, but it was really awkward. August 31st. Today I just looked at her feed, and this is such a shocking what the actual moment. She's thinking about giving up her kids. She went on about how recently she was asked if she liked her kids or being a mom, and how she realized that she didn't. She hates her children and blames them for ruining her life and how she doesn't want to be a mom. I mean, nothing is official yet, but what the hell? I'll update as stuff happens now that I have the time, but this whole thing has been a big, giant mess. Also, sorry for any formatting or grammatical errors. I'm not used to using Reddit on my PC. Update 2. Okay, so some stuff has happened, and most of it's good. Also, the TLDR for this update will be at the bottom. September 4th, Beth and Ben stopped posting on all social media. I was actually a little worried she died. I mean, this woman posts everything short of her trips to the bathroom on the internet. Oddly enough, this got people messaging or interacting with her social media pages because she was usually the one to start contact. And that contact was usually yelling. No one heard from them, and some people started to be like, should we call the cops for a wellness check? Until Ben posted a status saying that they're fine but are busy, and to please stop trying to contact them right now. Everyone listened, but it was weird. September 11th. I got a notification that Beth and Ben are active on social media again, but I didn't feel like dealing with drama, so I didn't check out any of their posts. September 12th. Today, she messaged me on Twitter asking me to be her maid of honor. She also kept going on about the resort in Cancun where she and Ben were looking to have their wedding this coming February. The current situation is really bad where we are, so no one should be traveling anywhere. I've actually had to delay my trip back to the province where I go to university. No one should be traveling anywhere. Beth also found out that Ben was cheating on her with one of her co-workers and called the woman a homewrecker on Twitter, tagged her, and posted the text she found on Ben's phone. But Ben is the love of her life, so she's forgiven him but not the other woman, which I find very hypocritical considering how she and Ben got together. She also sent pics of possible bridesmaid dresses, and they are the most hideous dresses I've ever seen. I know that some brides do that thing where they want to look 1,000,000 times better by comparison, but this was just ridiculous. One of them looked like a partially deflated balloon with feathers strapped to it. She also openly admitted that she expected everyone attending to pay $10,000 VDJ $6,000 would go towards that guest's stay at the resort, and $4,000 would go to her and Ben. They also expected wedding gifts so that they could get their room for free. Apparently, she talked to someone at the resort, and if she got enough people to book their rooms, she and Ben would get theirs for free. She also wanted the money to be given to her instead of directly to the hotel so that people wouldn't realize that she was taking $4,000 of their money. Beth sent me a pic of the wedding dress she wanted, and it's definitely a clubbing dress. If that's what she wants, that's fine. And for the record, I do think she would look great in it. Beth's current dream wedding dress, but she wants all the guests to be dressed in black tie. She's already sent a list of unreasonable requests, such as all women must wear heels for a beach wedding, no one is allowed to have a baby or be pregnant, and really young girls must have longer than shoulder-length hair. Boys must have very short hair, only an inch or two long. No one is allowed to be skinnier than her. She will be providing diets for everyone attending based on how she wants us to look. She and Ben must have bachelor and bachelorette parties both in Australia and in Spain, which need to be fit for a king and queen, and both must be paid for by anyone but the bride and groom because that's just tacky. No unnatural hair, no tattoos. You have 5 tattoos, Beth, and in the dress you want, all will be on full display. No one is allowed to talk to her directly. They must speak through the maid of honor and best man. Honestly, there's a lot more, but I didn't feel like typing all that out. She's posted the list on Twitter and Instagram, and people are already calling her a bridezilla. I was also just kind of weirded out because aside from the previous conversation at the hospital, and when she originally asked me to be a bridesmaid, we haven't spoken since high school. So I respectfully declined, stating that the virus and school were my top concerns right now. Then I decided to check her socials to see if she'd posted anything. She had, and everything was basically how it was before the hiatus except her kids are nowhere to be found VGJ. No look at my cute baby pics or kids crying in the background of her videos. Nothing. Based on her new pics of herself, she's given birth to baby C. I mean, she's definitely still recovering, but she also definitely had a baby, and that baby is not on any of her socials. So when she responded to my decline with an attempt at guilting me to be her maid of honor, I asked her where her kids were. This was her response. "Oh, I left them at the side of the road on our way home from the hospital. Those moochers could walk home." I was like, please tell me you're not being serious, especially because it looks like you had the baby days ago. And she replied, "I was just joking. You shouldn't be so serious all the time, honey. You made a joke about child abandonment and abuse. You're not being serious enough." Then I finally got the update on the kids. Baby A is still with Jake. Beth signed away her rights. Baby B and baby C have been given to a mutual cousin of Jake and Ben who is infertile. To be honest, I didn't need that last tidbit of info, or the 3-paragraph-long rant about how God hates infertile women. I couldn't even read all of it. I didn't think Beth could be so cruel to even think those things. I checked out the Instagram page of baby B's grandparents, and they're happy with their grandchild's new parents. It looks like the cousin and her husband are welcoming them to the family as another set of grandparents and will let them have access to the baby. So yay. One thing I do need to stress, though, is that because of the virus, the courts in our area are either moving at a snail's pace or closed, so none of this is official. But Beth and Ben have signed paperwork, and all that needs to happen now is presenting that to a judge. When I rejoined our conversation, she said the doctor she had for baby C gave her birth control, and she was surprised because after her first pregnancy, she asked her doctor for it, but he refused to give her any. She mentioned that her old doctor was also her mom's and sister's doctor. She ended up asking the doctor who delivered baby C to be her new doctor, so I hope that works out. After learning all this, my conversation with Beth started to go downhill. Beth, wait, did you actually think I would just leave my kids at the side of the road? I just didn't want to be a mom, but I wasn't a bad one. Me. Beth, I think that you've been through a lot of trauma in the past few years and that it's gotten to you mentally, and that you should speak to a professional. Beth has been a bad mom, but she does need mental health help, and I wasn't going to convince her to get it or not tell me if I said that. Beth, what, you think I'm crazy? Me. No. I think that getting kicked out as a teen because of a pregnancy, and having your family actively reject you and try to sabotage you must have been very painful. Plus, pregnancy puts a lot of mental stress on women, and you've had 3 in such a short time span. I just want you to take care of yourself and get what you want in life, and I think we start with you taking care of your mental health. Beth, what I want is for you to go straight to hell. Beth then called me every cuss word, expletive, and derogatory word she could think of. One of the words she called me was a derogatory term about people from my ethnicity, and my blood is boiling that she thought it was okay to say that to me. So I'm now on her hit list. She's been blowing up my social media all day. On her last Twitter post where she called me a slur, she said that she still expects a good wedding gift from me. Yeah, no. So I've blocked her on everything and decided to completely cut off contact. This will be my last update. Update 3. Hi everyone. I didn't think I would be making another update, but here I am. I don't know if anyone will even care, but whatever. It turned out she's seen it and does not give a single damn because, as I pointed out, the majority of the info in this post came from her public social media. She also doesn't know who posted it. More on that in the update. I am still no contact with Beth and have no plans to change that anytime soon. But we have mutual friends who have told and shown me what's happened. First things first, she and Ben did get married, but they eloped. According to all sources, they are completely and utterly miserable, though. Ben has proven to be an overall lazy and unfaithful husband, and Beth has really gotten into feminism with a focus on reproductive issues after she started using birth control. The overturning of Roe v. Wade in the U.S., even though we're in Canada, really caused tension in their marriage. As it turns out, Ben thinks that abortion is murder, and that God created women for the purpose of making babies. Beth tried to argue that not all women want or should be mothers, using herself as an example. Then Ben went ahead and used her as an example of why women should be forced to have kids because, in the end, she gave kids to an infertile couple. She didn't take that well and said that her entire life and future were ripped away from her and destroyed the second she got pregnant with baby. Jake was never slut-shamed or demeaned like she was, both at home and at school, which is a fair point. Myself and many others were helpful and supportive, but there were a lot of people who judged the hell out of her and said really nasty stuff. They said that if she hadn't gotten pregnant, She would have gone to college or university because she lost the general and financial support of her family with that positive pregnancy test. Ben has made a Tinder account, and Beth was informed, but it doesn't seem like she gave a damn, so basically you could cut the tension with a knife. Regarding her family, her sister came out as gay and cut off, or has been cut off from, their parents, but she's got a partial scholarship, so she's doing okay. She and Beth are not on good terms, but have met up and acknowledged that their parents messed them up by being religious nuts and encouraged them to be competitive with each other and sabotage each other. Apparently, their dad's motto is, "Competition brings out the best in everyone." But they've talked, and that's good enough for now. Neither Beth nor Ben have custody or visitation of their children, which Ben is starting to regret because he's suddenly getting more and more into the church and religion. Ben talked to Beth about getting baby C back, but Beth shut that down hard and warned the cousin who adopted baby C officially and legally. Beth started going to therapy after she and Ben got married, which makes me very happy and excited for her. There was a rumor going around that Ben has a mistress, and it took me a while to confirm, but it's true. He's cheating on her with a paramedic, and she knows. Beth is fully aware. I don't Timot know if she plans to do anything about it or just continue to ignore it, but I hope she leaves his ass. I'm still not going to talk to her VDJ. She crossed so many lines, VDJ, but she's grown and improved a lot, and her life would be a lot better without that sack of scum in her life. Now, I have given a few details in my post that should have revealed my identity to her, namely her asking me to be her maid of honor. I've found out that she actually asked around 30 girls, including myself, to be her maid of honor without telling any of us about the others, because she was trying to get money from all of us, and because her mental health has just been very bad, and she needed help. Of those 30, 8 had been going to school out of province, and of those 8, we all had basically the same classes in high school. Apparently, she doesn't remember our discussion at the vaccination clinic, and had a major blow-up with everyone she asked to be maid of honor. So, she knows it's one of 8 people, and reportedly has no interest in trying to narrow that number down. Ben did the same thing with his groomsmen, but couldn't keep track of the numbers. Dear Beth, if this post gets forwarded to you or somehow graces your phone screen, leave Ben. He's trash, and you'll be much better without him in your life. Though I'm not willing to talk to you again because of your words and actions, I do wish for you to have a wonderful and happy life.